Good morning, students. Myself, Priya Pandey. Today I am going to teach Standard 5 EVS. In that, chapter number 2, Motions of the Earth. Now, let's first understand the term rotation. For this, try this activity. Take a top, spin it, and observe its movement. You will see the top is moving around itself. Any object that turns around itself, it turns around a certain imaginary line. Now, what do you mean by imaginary line? It means that when an object turns around itself, we feel as it is turning around a particular line or a line which is there and it is turning around itself. Okay, so there is no line over there. We feel as if there is a line, it is turning, which is a top is moving. Now you can try this on yourself. You can stand straight, you can stretch your arms and try to turn around. Okay, so you will feel as if you are turning around a particular line. So this turning of an object around itself is called rotation, and the imaginary line around which it rotates is called axis of rotation. So in the diagram that is shown, you can see there is a line with dotted line. So this is called axis of rotation. There is no such line seen, but we feel as if the top is moving around this line. So this is axis of rotation, means we cannot see the line, but it is there. So this line is called as axis of rotation. Now let's understand the term the earth rotation. Try this activity. Take a globe like the one is shown in the picture and spin it. Note the line around which it rotates. Now take a plumb line and hold it close to the globe as shown in the picture. Now, what do you mean by plumb line? Plumb line is an instrument that is used by most of the people who are in construction business. Means the one who is working in a construction business, you can find they are having this plumb line. For what purpose they are using? To find the level of the wall. Now, if you do not have a plumb line, not to worry. You can make a plumb line of your own self. You can tie a erase or any heavy object to a string and use it as a plumb line. So, not to worry, you can also make this type of plumb line at your home also. Now, when you hold a plumb line, you will see the plumb line and the earth axis are at an angle to each other. That is, the earth axis is inclined. Now, what do you mean by the word inclined? Inclined means it is slanting or tilted. That is, it is not straight. If you look at the plumb line, it is straight. Whereas the axis, that is the imaginary line. We have already learned what is axis. What is axis? An axis is an imaginary line around which the object moves. So in this case, the earth is moving around an imaginary line which is called axis. And this axis of earth rotation is not straight. It is inclined, or you can say it is tilted. So earth rotates with its axis inclined. Now, the line NS in the picture shows the earth's axis. It passes through the center of the earth. The point N and S are called the poles of the earth. N is the north pole of the earth and S is the south pole of the earth. Now students, let's understand the term equator. If a circle were around the surface of the earth exactly in between the north and south poles, it means what? We learned what is north and south pole. Okay, the two ends of the earth are north and south pole. So if we draw the line in exactly at the center of those two poles, it would divide the earth into two equal parts, right? So if we draw the line on the center, it will divide our whole globe into two equal parts, and this imaginary line that we draw on the center of the earth is called what? Equator. So this imaginary circle is called the equator. Now, when it is drawn, it divides the earth into two equal parts. It makes the earth into two equal halves. The topmost part is called the northern hemisphere, and the downward part of the earth is called southern hemisphere. So when we divide our globe, or you can say the earth, it divides into two parts. The upper part is called as northern hemisphere, and the downward part is called as the southern hemisphere. Now let's try the another activity. Stand a candle in the middle of a large table. Draw a big circle around the candle. Place a globe at any point on this circle. Light the candle. See that it is dark in the room. Please, you must see that it should be dark in the room. Suppose that the candle is the sun. Now observe which part of the globe gets the sunlight and which one does not. Now, looking at the globe from the direction of the northern pole, turn it anti-clockwise. Now, what do you mean by anti-clockwise? It means that we have to make the globe which goes against the direction of our clock. That is opposite direction of our clock. So, this is how the earth rotates. That is, it rotates from west to east. From the activity, we learn that as the earth rotates, different paths come into the light of the sun one after the another and turn away from it also in the same order. So we notice that as one place comes in front of the sun, it moves away, and the next part of the earth comes in front of the light. That is how each part of the earth gets the sunlight. Means the one who comes in front of the sun, it moves away, and the next part which is not in the light will be seen. Now let's understand the term sunset and sunrise. Now continuing with our activity, stick a red bindi on the globe. Turn the globe anti-clockwise. Note when it is sunrise, noon and sunset at the location of the bindi. After one sunrise, note when the next one occurs at the bindi. You will see that this happens when the earth completes one rotation. That is, when it makes one complete turn around itself. Means it completes one rotation. So we will see that the bindi has come back into its position. That means it has gone through one sunrise, one noon and one sunset. And again, when it turns, the process continues. So this process goes on and on as the earth rotates around itself. This tells us that this period of the time that the earth takes to complete one rotation is called a day. That is when the earth moves one whole around itself, it is called a day. The day has two parts, daytime and nighttime, just like we can see in the diagram. Or you can simply say day and night. Now for the purpose of measuring time, we divide the whole day into 24 parts, each of which is called an hour. So therefore we have 24 hours in a day. Now what is a year? Move the globe along the circle on the table. As you do this, keep rotating the globe and ensure that the axis does not change its orientation. It means, see, the axis is not moving. The globe is sturdy. So you have to move the globe along the circle slowly. And while it is moving, see that it is also rotating around its axis. What happens is, eventually the globe will come back to its original place on the circle. That is, it will come back from where it is started. This is how the earth revolves around the sun even as it rotates around itself. So this tells us that when the earth is rotating, that is turning around itself, it is also moving around the sun. So there they are going on together. That is, simultaneously the earth is moving around itself also, as well as it is moving around the sun. So this give rise to one whole year. So have you understood? Means the earth is moving around itself also. It is moving around the sun, and for this process it takes one whole year. We just saw that the earth, while rotating itself, is also moves around the sun. So the period of the time the earth takes to complete one revolution around the sun, that is one turn around the sun, is called as 1 year. So there are about 365 days and 6 hours in a year. It means that when the earth goes around the sun, it will take 365 days plus 6 hours in a full year. So do you understood? In a year we are having 365 days plus along with 6 hours in a full year. So always remember, this 6 hours we are not calculating, but it is there in a 1 year. Now let's understand the term a leap year. In a Gregorian calendar. Now what do you mean by Gregorian calendar? The calendar that is used all over the world. That is the calendar which we use in our daily life. Now in a Gregorian calendar, the year is taken to have 365 days. Now we just learned that the earth revolves around the sun. It is 1 year. And that revolution takes 365 days and 6 hours. But for the purpose of calculation, we do not take the 6 hours. It means that it counts 6 hours less every year. Means we are not calculating this 6 hours. So that makes 24 hours or 1 day in every 4 hours. If we are not calculating this 6 hours for 1 year, for 4 year if we count, so it will make one whole day, means 24 hours it will become. 4 6 is 24. So this 1 year is also having 6 hours, but that we are not calculating. But if we calculate for 4 years, it will make one day. So it means that 6 hours, if we count in a year, it will become 24 hours, and we know that 24 hours is a 1 day. So we are actually counting 1 day less. So to make up for this lost 1 day, the month of February in the Gregorian calendar has an extra day every 4 years. So this year is called as a leap year, and it has 366 instead of 365 days, and February has 29 instead of 28 days. So the leap year will have 366 days instead of 365 days. Every year we take 365 days, but in a leap year we add one more day. So the leap year has 366 days and February has 29 days instead of 28 days. We have already learned that because of the earth rotation we have day and night, but the length of the day and night is also not equal. It means that the daytime and the night time are not of equal length. They are not equal duration. That is, two meet of the daytime is longer than the night time, and sometimes this happens because of the earth's inclined axis and its revolution around the sun. We learned that earth axis is not straight, that is, it is inclined. So as it moves around the sun, it does not get light of equal proportion. All the parts of the earth do not get light in equal proportion. So therefore the daytime and the night time are not equal. Why it is not equal? Because the light from the sun is not, means the earth is not straight, it is little tilt. So because of that the sunlight is not passing to all. So therefore the daytime and nighttime is not equal. Now let's learn about the summer and winter season. In the northern hemisphere, between 22nd March and 23rd September, the days are longer than the nights. That is, the daytime is more than the night time, and therefore it is warmer over there. Now between 22nd March to 23rd March, it is warmer. In however, that is, it is summer in the northern hemisphere. Now, can you imagine from 22nd March to 23rd September, the days are longer as compared to nights, means night will be smaller and the days will be longer, and because of that there is a summer in that month. Now, what happens after 22nd March to 23rd March? However, during this same period, 22nd March and 23rd September, the southern hemisphere, the nights are longer than the days. Means during this time only, when it is the southern hemisphere, the nights will be longer than the day. Now, the earth gets less heat in this part, and therefore it is winter in the southern hemisphere. So, have you get it? Now, in the period from 23rd September to 22nd March, the days are longer than the nights in the southern hemisphere. It gets more heat and it is in summer there. In this period, in the northern hemisphere, it is the night that is longer. The northern hemisphere get less heat and it is winter there. So, you can imagine sometimes it is winter, sometimes it is summer. But note that there may be differences in this date due to the leap year, because in the leap year one day is becoming more, so there will be a little difference in that. In India, summer, rainy and winter are considered to be the main season, right? We also divide the year into 6 seasons, that is Vasant, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad, Hemant and Shishir. So this cycle of 6 seasons is called as what? Ritu Chakra. So always remember, in India we are celebrating this 6 season. We are having this 6 season. Now, the rotation of the earth give rise to day and night. The revolution of the earth and the inclination of its axis gives rise to cycle of season. What it means, it because of the rotation we have day and night, and because of the revolution we have this season. So always remember, because of rotation we have day and night, and because of this revolution we have different seasons. Now, the moon revolves around the earth and the earth revolves around the sun. However, these two orbits intersect. Now, what do you mean by orbit, student? Orbit means the path that the earth and the moon take to travel. Means the way, the path the earth and moon takes to travel. So, the path that the moon takes to travel around the earth, means moon is traveling around the earth, is called moon's orbit. And the path that earth takes to travel around the sun is called earth's orbit. Means here moon is revolving around the earth and earth is revolving around the sun. Now these two orbits or these two parts intersect, and because of that the sun, the moon, the earth are not always along a straight line. They are in a straight line only sometimes. That is how we experience about the eclipse, that is solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. Hence the sun, the moon and the earth are not always along a straight line. Now let's learn about the phases of the moon. We see half of the moon's surface which faces the earth, that is from the earth we see only one side of the moon. We cannot see the complete moon, okay? We see always the one side of the moon. Now the moon has no light of its own. We can see the moon because of the sunlight that falls on it. This happens because the moon is a satellite, okay? So therefore it does not have its light. It gets the light from sun. That is how we are able to see moon. Moon is not having its light. He is getting the light from the sun, and because of this we can see the moon. Now on a full moon night we see the entire side of the moon that faces the earth. On a new moon night we cannot see any of it. Now we learn that only one part of the moon can be seen always. That is, we can't see the other part of the moon. Now out of this full part on the full moonlight we can see the whole part of the moon. Now, on a new moon night, we cannot see any of it. That is, the moon is still there, but we are unable to see that. So, that night is called the new moonlight. Okay. Now, from the full moon to the new moon, the illuminated part of the moon seen from the earth becomes smaller and smaller. Now, what do you mean by illuminated? Means the lighted part of the moon seen from the earth becomes smaller and smaller. And from new moon to full moon, it again grow bigger and bigger. These different shapes of the moon that we see are called phases of the moon. So, remember, student, the moon is not bigger or smaller, but what part of the moon we can see, the lit part of the moon we can see, that becomes smaller and smaller or bigger and bigger. Means the part which we can see, that has become bigger and smaller. Moon is not becoming smaller and smaller. So these different parts of the moon we see of the moon in the sky, it is called as what? The phases of the moon. Now let's study waxing and waning moon. It takes 14 or 15 days for new moon to full moon. This is the fortnight of the waxing moon. Now, what do you mean by fortnight? It means 2 weeks. So, 2 weeks are equal to what? 14 days. So, for the moon, it takes 14 to 15 days to take full moon. So, when it changes its shape from new moon to full moon, that is 14 to 15 days are called the waxing moon. Whereas, from the full moon, the moon appears smaller and smaller, and after 14 to 15 days it is new moon again. So this period, that is 14 to 15 days, again a fortnight, so that fortnight is called as waning moon. Thus the period from one new moon to the next is of 28 to 30 days, which has lot. The waxing moon takes 14 to 15 days and waning moon also takes 14 to 15 days. So together it makes 28 to 30 days. So this full period is called the lunar month, or we can say the moon month. So you can understand what is lunar month. So also we can say this as tithi also. And every day we can say as tithi. Now let's revise what we have learned. The new moon takes 15 days to complete full moon, and it is called as waxing moon, and it is also called as Shukla Paksh. In India we say Shukla Paksh. Now the full moon takes 15 days again to become new moon. So that is called as a waning moon, and it is called as Krishna Paksh in India. The fortnight of the waxing moon along with the fortnight of the waning moon is called lunar month, or I said it is called as a moon month also. Now again revise what we have learned. The rotation of the earth causes day and night. The revolution of the earth around the sun and its inclined axis together causes the season. The revolution of the moon around the earth give rise to the phases of the moon. The period from one new moon to the next is called a lunar month. It has about 28 to 30 days. The fortnight ending on a full moon is that of waxing moon. The fortnight that ends on a new moon is that of waning moon. So we have studied what is waxing, what is waning, what is lunar month. This is all we have studied. And the days of the lunar month are called as tithis. So I told you this 14 to 15 days, whatever the days are there in that lunar month, it is called as tithis. So all this we have studied. So this lesson is completed, the motion of the earth. Thank you.